shaken loose. The white page stared at me. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. The words would not come. My mind felt as blank as the screen. I closed the laptop. "I'm going for a ski," I called up to my son. "Good idea. Decent day out there." I could have asked him to join me, but he was focused on his computer reading fan fiction online. I thought solitude would be good for me. It might clear my brain, release the words I needed. Outside, the formless gray sky gave no clue where the sun was. Flakes of snow fell almost straight down. Some pinged against my jacket, melting as soon as they hit. By the barn, waves of snow masked the rise and fall of the land. When I entered the lane, I crossed gentle drifts that had formed beside the trees like white shadows. The tip of one cedar post peeked out beyond the snow, marking the edge of the field. I realized that where I skied, a meter of white lay between me and the ground. I entered a field where drifts, sculpted by a week of wind, had curved into the landscape like a scythe with a knife-sharp edge. For 7 days, the wind had cut through the windows of the house, making it impossible to stay warm. For 7 days, gusts had scoured the ground, dumping snow in roadways and beside fence rows. This morning was still, but the shapes of the snow remembered the wind. Moving across the smooth spaces beyond the drifts, I heard nothing but the gentle shush of my skis and the ping of snow on my jacket. I looked back at my tracks, wondering how long it would take the snow to cover them. I skied across the gap where coyote and deer often crossed. I saw no marks. There were no signs of turkeys, no prints of a fox. I knew the wildlife was hiding, waiting. I slid down the steep side of a drift, racing for a moment with the wind pushing back tendrils of hair that had escaped from under my hat. My skis caught in the heavy snow at the bottom. I almost lost my balance. As I pushed on through the heavy silence, the flakes began to be lighter. Gray-black trees stood stark against the pale gray sky. A blue jay cawed. A moment later, it swept through the trees just in front of me and landed on a branch of a pine tree, shaking loose the snow piled there. It called again, and it seemed that a chickadee answered, its joyous song echoing in the silence. A word surfaced in my mind, an answer to the emptiness. I searched for the bird, but it was hidden in the trees. My thought drifted away. Then I saw him again. He skimmed ahead, landing on the bare elm beside me. Another chickadee sang as a shaft of light broke through the clouds, coloring shadows along the ground. Suddenly, quick movement signaled a rabbit hopping into the lane. It stopped. I could see it blink with surprise and watched its black nose twitch. Poised to run, it looked up at me. I smiled, though I doubted it could read my face. One movement of its legs propelled it across the rippled surface of the snow. A moment later, it was out of sight, but it had left its footprints behind. Its speed and freedom lifted my spirits. The gap in the clouds grew wider as blue sky brightened above me. The clouds turned from gray to white. Snow sparkled. I turned my face into the sun. Though the yellow sunlight had no heat, it changed the feel of the world. Trees reached upward. Their sharp shadows stretched across the snow. Every new flake reflected light. I knew it was time for me to go back and face the empty page. I turned my skis into the lines I had laid down on my way out. Tracks were smooth and fast. My skis moved effortlessly. I picked up speed, enjoying my own sense of freedom as I moved across bright snow and sharp shadows. The blank gray of earlier was gone. Brightness had taken over the world and my spirit. It would be a fast trip back. With me, I carried newfound confidence that the words I needed would come and be shaken loose like snow from the trees.